I've only a few words to say. I won't take up much of your valuable time, Thelma. You have decided to leave me. I can accept that. You think that is the answer? You may very well be right. Who knows? Only time will tell. I can accept that. But what I cannot accept, what I cannot begin to accept, is that you should think that I was having an affair with another woman. Now, this I find, well, this lack of trust. It's taken something from our marriage, Thelma, and it's going to take a long time. A long, long time, Thelma, and a lot of hard work to put back what's gone. Now, do I make myself clear?
Who are you talking to?
I wasn't talking to anybody.
Saw your lips move, Norman.
Just thinking aloud.
Come on, now drink that while it's hot.
You put sugar in it. You know I don't take sugar. I told you I don't take sugar in tea.
Well, I'm sorry, mate. Just don't stir it, that's all.
Oh, that's no good. The sugar's in there, isn't it, doing its damage? I told you I've cut out sugar, like I've cut out chocolate digestive biscuits, and salted nuts and lemon curd.
Well, I'm not to know these things, am I? This is just the first morning of our new life together, Robert. I'm just getting to know you, getting to know all about you, getting to like you, hoping that you like me.
Not funny at all.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to bring a smile to that pale little face, just take your mind off your troubles. Do you fancy a bacon sandwich?
I can't eat, just like I can't sleep.
No, I didn't sleep very good either. That guest room of yours has obviously never had a guest in it. It's not aired, you know, that room. I was freezing in there. I had to sleep with my socks on.
You always sleep with your socks on.
I do not. Not in the warm weather.
You do? You sleep in your vest and all. You've got some very odd personal habits, you.
What do you mean, odd personal habits?
Well, you have.
No, I have not. Look, it's all right for you, mate. You could afford to sleep in the nude if you wanted to. You've got the electric blanket.
I don't mean just last night. I mean in general.
Like what?
Just little things. One can't help fail to notice. Not much in themselves, but they let you down.
Little things like what?
Well, when you go into somebody's house, anybody's house, you always kick your shoes off. And you always undo your top trouser button when you've eaten too much. That's not nice, is it? Not in company. You pick your teeth. And you scratch a lot. I've never said this before, Terry, but when we were in the Scouts, I didn't like sharing a tent with you.
Why the hell not? You think I was going to attack you?
There was always an evil smell in the morning. I could never eat me porridge.
Oh, all the nastiness is setting in now, though, but you've obviously bottled all this lot up for years. We were 13 when we got hired out of the Scouts. All these years, and I don't know. Look, don't you start getting at me, mate, just because your wife's left you and I put sugar in your tea. What about your own peculiar personal habits? Like talking to bears. There was the whole bloody Seagull Patrol in that tent, you know, not just me. Why blame me? Of course there was an evil smell. It was a mixture of wet feet, wind and woodbines.
It was always your wind.
I don't have to stay here, you know. I can go home to a perfectly warm bed where nobody gives a rat's about me top trouser button. I came here as a friend to help you over your emotional problems. However,
look, I didn't
obviously nobody's allowed anywhere near this house without a diploma from a Swiss rotten finishing school.
I'm sorry, Terry, honestly.
I remember when you used to cut your toenails in the fireplace. But I wouldn't dream of mentioning that.
Look, I've said I'm sorry, honestly. I'm under a lot of stress at the moment. You know what it's like when you can't sleep?
Only too well after last night.
Well, you can have the electric blanket tonight.
Oh, you want me to stay tonight, do you?
Well, if you don't mind.
Yeah, want me to stay now, do you?
I'd be ever so grateful.
Ah, look, kid, I don't want your gratitude. I mean, what are friends for? It's times like this when you find out who your real friends are. It's times like this when you need the comfort and understanding of somebody like me. Can I honestly have the electric blanket?
Yes, certainly. I mean, I'm not sleeping, am I? Not with this emotional problem hanging over my head.
All right, then. Only just bear in mind And I may not be as genteel as Thelma, but I'll do my best to keep this place tidy while you're at work, and I'll do the shopping and get the meals and such like.
I'll leave you something for the housekeeping.
You'd better, the cost of living these days.
It'll probably be easiest if you get everything at the supermarket, get everything we need.
Well, that depends on how long I'm going to be here, doesn't it? I mean, how long do you think this emotional crisis of yours is going to last?
Well, it's up to her, isn't it?
Is it?
Definitely. She's responsible for this. I'm going to say to her, you have decided to leave me. Fine. I accept that. You think that's the answer. You may very well be right. Only time can tell. I can accept that. But what I cannot accept, what I cannot begin to accept,
is that you should actually think that I've been having it off with another woman.
Pardon?
I know the rest, kid. I heard it.
Oh.
Well, I couldn't help it, could I?
Well, I just want to find out the best way of putting it to her.
Well, when are you going to put it to her? I mean, when are you going to tell Thelma what you've been telling Norman half the night?
Well, the sooner the better, I should think.
Oh, I agree, definitely.
Do you?
Well, certainly. It's an hour-long speech to remember.
It doesn't have to be word perfect, as long as I get the gist. It is the most important speech of my life. I might as well try and get the words right.
Well, I agree. I'm not getting at you, kid. I know how important the right words are. I should. Was married to a German girl, wasn't I? Oh, our marriage might have stood some chance if only we'd had some way of communicating with each other. Every time we had a row, she couldn't understand the abuse I was hurling at her.
Well, perhaps that was just as well.
Well, of course it wasn't. She kept locking me out of the house. And you can't go up to a total stranger and say, please, will you translate, let me in, I want to go to the lavatory.
But did you never make any attempt to bridge the language barrier?
I did once. One night when she'd really gone too far, and I thought, right, my girl. So I went round to this neighbour and borrowed his useful German phrase book. Big, massive thing it was, about that thick.
And did you find it useful?
Very. I took it home and clouded her with it.
That is nice. That's charming, that is.
It's about the only time the neighbours came in handy.
Terry, about the neighbours, look, there's no point in everybody knowing about this situation. I mean, I don't want the neighbours in. I don't want the neighbours coming in all hours with advice and jars of homemade marmalade.
Look, have you seen the time? You're going to be late for work, and I've got to do these dishes and then get down to the shops.
Terry, this business between Thelma and I, well, I don't want everybody knowing. Let's just try and keep it between ourselves, shall I?
Of course.
I know you. I mean, if you're going down the shops, I don't want this all round the Elm Lodge housing estate.
My lips are sealed.
Then you might bump into your Audrey, then it'll be on the Jungle Telegraph. Round the whole bloody north by 6 o'clock news. Probably be on the 6 o'clock news.
My lips are sealed. Mind you.
Mind you what?
Well, I can't help the neighbours seeing me, can I? Seeing me loaded with your shopping.
Well, you could make an excuse. You could say there's sickness in the house, Thelma's ill.
Oh, then they're bound to be round with jars of homemade marmalade.
It's infectious, very infectious.
Well, then why am I here?
You've been injected, so have I.
Well, that's a relief.
But you could say that she hasn't got to see anybody, complete peace and quiet. She's been overdoing it at the library, stock-taking.
I know what I'll say. If anybody asks me, I'll say that work at the library is killing Thelma. They found her, buried in her books.
Oh, come on, Terry, come on, be serious.
All right, then, being serious, why am I here? What about everybody else? I mean, Les the milkman, the postman, that cheeky lad on the ice cream van. Now, we don't want them speculating, now, do we?
You're here because your street's being demolished.
It's what?
It's being demolished. It's certainly due for it.
Oh, don't be stupid. Everybody knows my street's not being demolished.
Well, nobody round here will know. Nobody round here will be seen dead down your street.
Oh, Charlie, this has got a lot more character than round here, I can tell you.
Is that cup supposed to be clean?
Oh, and why we don't get all steamed up over middle-class gossip like you lot?
Shh, it's Les. Now, not a word, right? Not a whisper.
I have told you before, my lips
are sealed, yes. Well, let's just see that they are.
The soul of discretion, Robert.
Hello, lads.
Morning, Les.
Hello, Bob.
Les.
Hey, you're a bit late, aren't you? Are you off work?
No, it's Thelma that's off. Infection. But I've been injected.
And I'm being demolished.
All right. Oh, well, I'm sorry about that. I hope she's soon back on her feet.
She'll be all right. Just peace and quiet, peace and quiet.
Yeah, the reason I knocked was because I noticed there wasn't any empties out, like.
Well, I haven't got round to them yet.
Right. Same as usual, is it? 2 pints and a strawberry yoghurt.
Strawberry yoghurt? I thought you'd cut out sugar.
Thelma has that.
Oh, I see. Well, just the 2 pints today, Les. You can cancel the yoghurt indefinitely.
And it's going to take a long time. A long, long time, Thelma. And a lot of hard work to put back what's gone.
Is that a dash?
Pardon?
After a lot of hard work, should it be a dash or do you think a colon?
Does it matter?
You said it was an important letter, Bob.
It is an important letter. It's the most important letter of my life.
Then I think it's important to get the punctuation right, don't you?
Look, my marriage isn't going to hang on the difference between a colon and a semicolon.
Dash? Colon or a dash?
Oh, you decide. You're the clerical bloody genius round here.
If you're going to be like that, I'll get the swear box.
I'm sorry, Wendy. I'm sorry. I'm under a lot of strain.
Emotional strain?
Emotional strain, yes.
That's the worst sort. My boyfriend Gordon and I went through a lot of that.
Really?
At Easter, when we went to Derbyshire potholing.
Yes, one can see how that would cause a lot of strain.
Well, it's him that does the potholing. I don't do it. I think it's dangerous. And it can't do you any good, all that damp. And it's no fun for me. I've just got to sit in the tent all day while he's burrowing down some dark hole with the flashlight.
Wendy, have your potholing experiences got anything to do with my problems?
I thought it might help to know that other people have been through times like these.
I'm waiting for Thelma to come home, not emerge from a dark hole.
I just meant that...
Just type it out, there's a good girl.
Yes, Bob, of course, Bob.
Just type it out, Wendy, please.
I would just like to say one thing.
Yes, must you?
I think it's a bit impersonal for you to write a letter of this importance on the works notepaper.
I'm not. I just want you to type it out so I can go over it and polish it like.
Oh, I see. I would just like to say one thing.
Must you?
I think it's a very lovely letter.
Do you, Wendy? Do you really?
I don't see how she can fail to be impressed. Well, once I've corrected the punctuation.
Wendy, listen.
What?
This letter, well, this whole affair, I mean, just let's keep it between ourselves, shall we? I don't want it right round the office. I don't want it to go any further.
I'm the soul of discretion, Bob.
Right, good, because I don't want anybody to see that letter. You know, if one of those girls saw it or something. You know what that lot are like? You know how they thrive on gossip?
My lips are sealed. Oh, sorry.
Oh, shouldn't we knock, Vivian?
I suppose so. I'm sorry. Do you want me to come back next week?
What is it, Vivian, please?
Look, I'm supposed to make a list of everyone who wants to go on the office outing to Hexham Races. I want to know if you and Mrs. Ferris are going.
Yes, I should think so. Yes, you can put us down for that.
Do you think it's worth it, Bob?
What?
It's £3 a ticket. Shouldn't you wait and see if Thelma comes back first?
Watch it. Oh, hello, Ord.
What on earth are you doing here?
Well, I'm shopping, aren't I?
But my mum doesn't shop this end of town.
Ah, this is for Bob. I'm getting Bob's stuff in.
Bob?
Oh, and Thelma. Bob and Thelma. Thelma's not well, you see. She's in bed.
Oh, poor pet. Well, I'll drive you round there and pop in and see how she is.
No, you can't do that.
Why not?
It's infectious.
What is?
What she's got. Very infectious. Only I'm all right, though. I mean, me and Bob, we've had the injections. In any case, she needs the rest. Complete peace and quiet and no visitors whatsoever. Well, it's the stock taking, you see. I mean, it takes it out of you, that. And I'm only there in case you need anything. You do a bit of shopping, like, and stay in there watching the house and making sure she gets no visitors.
Ian. Thelma's left him. Terry told me.
What happened?
Well, I tell you. Well, apparently, Thelma's left him. You know, Bob Ferris.
But they were so happy.
I know. Everybody thought so. Yes. Yeah.
What is it?
Oh, it's Bob.
You're Bob. Well, let's see
You
him.
can't see him, not now. He's in the Venetian cafe opposite.
I've never met your Bob.
He's been in there half the afternoon.
Keeping a lonely vigil.
Pardon, Anthea.
Keeping a lonely vigil on the one he loves. You leaving him like that has stung him into realising the depth of his love for you.
Oh, keep your voice down, Anthea. Look, this thing between me and Bob, I've told you because of his phone calls, but I'm relying on your discretion. It's just between ourselves.
Oh, my lips are sealed, Thelma.
Good.
It's just that I think you should run to his arms.
Look, we're supposed to be reclassifying Anthea, and we're only up to archaeology.
I've never met your Bob, but I can't believe he's the philanderer you say he is. Not a man who could spend a lonely vigil for hours in that horrible Venetian cafe.
He's probably trying to pick up the waitress. You've seen that girl? That's his type, common and available.
Oh, I wouldn't have described you like that, Thelma.
I'm the type he married. That Moira over there is the type he lusts after.
From what I've heard of your Bob, he'd never dream of running after another woman. He's over there now because you refuse to take his phone calls. If he does start to notice Moira, you've only got yourself to blame. Your heartless indifference will drive him to the arms of another. And all he was doing was keeping a lonely vigil on the one he loves.
Anthea, you spend far too much time in romantic fiction.
I knew you'd be here.
What do you want? Hey, give us that.
Oh, it's tight now, is it?
None of your business.
It's a letter now, is it?
It's my concern, not yours.
You're bottled out of telling her, eh? You couldn't tell her to her face.
I wish you would stop asking the obvious. It's a very irritating habit of yours, Terry.
There you go again, switching the attack to my habits, changing the subject, not facing facts. That's not the way to play it, you know. If you want my advice, you will tell it to her straight, to her face. Cup of tea, please, Pat.
All right, love.
I do not want your advice. I do not want your help. I do not want your opinion. I do not want the benefit of your marriage guidance counsel. You're always telling me how to run my own marriage when yours was a disaster. You're like a man with 15 kids advising on family planning.
All I am saying is, if I was married to you and we had rows,
Which we would have constantly.
I would expect more than a letter. I would be expect to be told straight to my face.
Which one of them?
I will ignore that remark, considering as I are under an emotional strain.
I am going to tell her to her face. That's what I'm doing here. She comes here for coffee. But she's obviously avoiding me, so I've decided to post it.
Oh, I'll drop that in the post office for you.
No, you won't. Most important letter of my life. I want to make sure it gets there, thank you.
Your pet.
Thank you.
Thank you. How did you know I was here? I bet you rang the office, didn't you, and spoke to Wendy, and I bet that both of you had a right royal natter about it. And I bet all the girls on the switchboard were listening.
Ah, Bob, man, I guessed you were here, it's obvious.
How?
Because Thelma works opposite. When we were kids and you and her had rows, where did you spend all your lonely afternoons? Outside the railings of her grammar school, waiting for her to come out, waiting to speak to her and carry her satchel. And if she refused to speak to you, which she nearly always did, you wrote a letter, and you gave it to Norma Braithwaite to give to Thelma. Yeah, me, nothing's changed much, has it?
Suppose not.
Nothing's changed.
I remember once I wrote a really long one. It took me days and nights. I took such care with that letter. I looked up all the words in my little pocket dictionary, which was a present from my Auntie Gladys. Only time I ever used it. Except to look up mucky words.
They were never in.
No, never. They're in the big one, but not those little pocket ones.
Not the sort aunties give you for presents.
I took such care with that letter. Most important letter of my life. I wrote it all out in my new Parker 51. That was a present from my Auntie Elsie. Sealed it with pink sealing wax and wrote Swalk on the envelope. Only I didn't give it to Norma Braithwaite because she was off with chicken pox. I gave it to you to give to Thelma.
That's right.
And you pinned it on the notice board for the whole bloody school to read. What an evil thing to do. You're right, nothing's changed.
Even in those days when you used Norma Braithwaite as your messenger, all your breakups were down to your supposed infidelities.
Right, nothing's changed.
Not a grain of truth in any of them.
Right. Well, I don't know. I did put it about a bit.
Not as much as Thelma thought you did.
It wouldn't be humanly possible to put it about as much as Thelma thought I did. That's what makes all this so unfair. I mean, didn't she realise that as a married man I don't? Well, I don't.
I know you don't. But I know if you did, your nervous catarrh would come back.
I'm not saying that I don't like girls. I mean, I'm not saying that I don't notice girls. I can't say I haven't noticed that waitress. I mean, even in my darkest hour, I can't fail to have noticed her provocative body. And that ladder up her left leg.
Fantastic legs, they've got.
Right up to her throat. Naughty little bum and all.
Cheeky.
But she's just an erotic fantasy. As is the girl in the filling station on the bypass. I mean, I'd no more dream of taking them out than I would of taking you to the badminton club.
Oh, I don't expect to be taken out. I've got to slave over a hot stove all day.
Well, I'm going to post this. Are you coming?
No, I think I'll hang on here. Keep an eye on the ladder.
I'm just popping over the road. Do you want anything or just coffee?
Just coffee. Anthea,
Yes, Thelma?
are you going to the Venetian?
Oh, well, it is the handiest.
Look, I don't want you talking to my Bob.
Thelma, of course not. I don't know the man.
Well, you didn't know that man who lost his glove in the reading room this morning, but you're going to the pictures with him tonight.
I do not talk to strange men in coffee bars. And despite what you allege, I bet your husband doesn't even notice me. Two white coffees to take out, please, Moira. No sugar.
Okay, Anthea. Here you are.
Oh, many thanks.
Do you have to rush off?
Pardon?
Well, there's no mad rush, is there? Why don't you come and sit down and have a coffee or a bit of cake?
Do you know who I am?
No, but if you came and sat down, I soon would, and you'd find out who I was, and pretty soon we'd find out a lot of things.
My God! You're everything she said you are.
Who was that?
I don't know. I thought... In fact, I was positive, but... Oh, well, never mind. You haven't posted it.
No, I changed my mind. You were right. I realised that, well, the sooner this is settled, the better.
You realise that the word is mightier than the pen.
Yes, I am going to hand it to her. But she can read it at home. But I am going to hand it to her. It's not that I'm afraid to tell her, but, well, I'd never get the words right, and she'd only interrupt me, and you can't raise your voice in a library, and she'd never let me get it out.
Not in the public library, she wouldn't.
So, we'll go over there then, shall we?
Me? You want me to come and all?
I wouldn't mind.
All right, come on, let's go. Oh, no, here he goes again. First one thing and then the other. What is it this time? Cold feet?
No, it's just a pity. I stuck the stamp on.
Yes, can I help you?
Is Thelma Ferris here, please?
Oh, she's cataloguing at the moment. I can fetch her if it's important.
No. It's not that important. I wouldn't dream of... don't bother to. Would you see that she gets that, please?
Yeah, all right. Shall I say who it's from?
Her husband. You can say it's from her husband.
Oh, is it? He didn't have the nerve to come in here after what's just happened. He sends his messenger, does he? Well, you can give him this back and tell him if he's any sort of a man, he'll fetch it himself.
Pardon? Look, I'm just trying to... I'm just trying to deliver...
What was all that commotion, Anthea?
Oh, nothing, Pet, nothing at all, really. I'll just get my handbag.
What is the matter with that girl?
Excuse me, Thelma. Pet.
Oh, it's you, is it? Well,
Bob asked me to give you this. It's a letter, like, from him to you. He wanted to tell you personally, only thought that the library wasn't the right place and he knew you'd never let him get it out.
He asked you to bring me a letter from him? Well, you can tell him. If he's got anything to say to me, he can say it to my face. And you can give him that message from his ex-wife. Shh! Oh, shush yourselves!
Loving, they say, means never having to say you're sorry. So how come, of all the people I know who are supposedly in love, they spend their whole bloody time apologising to each other? Well, it's worth thinking about, Norman. Hurry up. Here's your father. He needs all the support he can get. Give him a nice smile. Bear up.
Of course, it's all over the whole town now, isn't it?
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is. It's bound to be after that fiasco in the library. I just popped into the Fat Ox on my way home from work, and that barmaid, you know, that big, sexy Scottish lass, she gives me this great, gooey smile and tells me to keep my pecker up.
But that doesn't mean out.
Yes, it does. She knows. You should have seen the smile. In the Crimea, Florence Nightingale gave that smile to amputees. Keep me pecker up.
Look, if you're going to sit there and wallow in self-pity, I'm going to tell you something, mate. You don't half flatter yourself, you do.
I what?
You flatter yourself that the people in this town are that interested in you and Thelma. The never-ending saga of Bob and Thelma has been going on for years. Rumour has it that Florence Nightingale introduced you to, or was it Boadicea?
I don't think I'll follow you.
You were just fretting unnecessarily. You are getting what is known as a persecution complex. There's nothing wrong with your marriage. Or even if there is, nobody knows. Well, hardly anybody anyway. I mean, nobody from round up here goes anywhere near the Fat Ox now, do they?
Yeah, I suppose you're right, Terry.
We, the people of this town, are just not that interested in your personal problems.
You're right. I'm sorry. Nobody knows. Or even if they do know, nobody cares. You're right. It's trivial. We'll patch it up. Sorry, Terry.
Right. I'll go and put the kettle on.
Yep, you put the kettle on and let's have a nice cup of tea.
Good lad. And I'll help you write another letter.
Well, I've forgotten what I said now, haven't I?
Oh, I can remember every word.
Any messages, by the way? Any phone calls?
Oh, yes, the secretary of your badminton club called.
Well, what did he want? I paid the subscription.
It's all right, it's all right. He only wanted to ask whether you and Thelma wanted to enter for the club tournament.
Oh, you didn't say anything to him, did you? Not to him. If it gets on the whole of the badminton club, oh, my God.
Oh, Bob, for heaven's sake, how many times have I got to tell you? Your personal affairs are none of my business. Nobody is interested in spreading rumour and speculation. All I said was, put them down for the singles, but don't bank on the mixed doubles.